what we're going to do is get into the lecture, and the very brief amount of time we have left, I'm going to talk about the beginnings of chemistry. We're going to talk about taxonomy, classification, nomenclature. And to help introduce this, I'm going to refer to the writings of William Shakespeare. We're going to integrate some humanities here. We're going to read from Romeo and Juliet. Maybe there are people here who were admitted on the strength of the performance in Romeo and Juliet. Maybe one of you was Romeo, one of you was Juliet, maybe one of you did the lighting, maybe one of you did the set design, maybe one of you took the tickets. Somehow you were involved, right? Because we're all involved. So let's take a look. Act 2, Scene 2. Romeo. But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is the east. That's the east. East Campus is that way, right? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. That has nothing to do with nomenclature. Maybe photon emission, but that's a joke. We'll get to it. Now, Juliet. Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name. Or if thou wilt not, be but sworn my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet. See, she's a Capulet, he's a Montague. You know, the Hatfields and the McCoys. And this is a metaphor. It's as old as literature. It's about warring factions, two communities that can't stand each other based on prejudice, and then these two youngsters fall in love, and how love triumphs over hatred and so on. It's powerful stuff, and it's written here. Romeo, shall I hear more, or shall I speak at this? Remember, she's up high, he's doing it. Shall I hear more, shall I speak at this? Fellas, the answer to that question is, don't speak. Don't interrupt her. All right, so now she goes. 'Tis but thy name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, though not a Montague. What's Montague? There's nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other word would smell as sweet. It's properties, right? So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo, doff thy name, and for that name which is no part of thee, take all myself. Beautiful writing, 400 years ago, and it's just fantastic. Well, that's no good. That's not the way it works in science. In science, we have to agree. We have to agree on the name. And so this is taken from chapter 1 of the text, and this is the classification of matter. This is about stuff and the different forms of stuff. Over here we have the simplest form of stuff, which is the element, and we're going to start here in 3091, and we're going to work our way all the way through this table, starting with electronic structure and how electronic structure governs stuff.